So if you're a person with multiple interests like me, you probably find that it's really hard to stay focused. Hi, my name is Richardson, Dackam, and in today's video, I want to talk about how to stay focused. There are a couple of mistakes I've made on my journey to learn how to stay focused. Essentially, I've always had so many different passions, always wanted to do different things, and always found that it was really hard for me to focus on one startup at a time. Because as soon as I get started, as soon as I start learning something and master it, I get really bored and I want to do something else. And then oftentimes I find that having different interests bring more value to the different interests I have, and then all those ideas in my head cause me not to actually be a very focused person sometimes. So how did I figure out how to be more focused? So when I was working on one of my startups, I realized that by tracking every single thing I was doing, then it would force me to be a little bit more focused into the venture that I started. And it always is, it's very simple. All you have to do is to measure what you do. You have to measure and track everything you do, and by tracking those things, you're slowly going to learn what you need to sacrifice and what you need to put all your energy on, and all the other ideas that you want to do, all the other projects that you want to do on the side are suddenly going to be pushed away because you realize that you don't have enough time to do all of them if you want to achieve your goal. So the one thing that I would say is that first you want to make sure to measure every single thing you do. There's a famous saying that says that what get measured get managed. So the more you measure things, the more you start tracking the things that you're doing, the better it is for you to manage it. Let's take, for example, if you have 5 business ideas and you try to track all of them together, and that's actually what I recommend you guys to do, because by tracking every single businesses, you're going to realize that it's impossible to manage all of them at the same time, or you have to figure out a better way to manage it and to delegate. So tracking essentially allows you to really narrow down your area of focus, because you can only do so much in order to achieve those goals. So the first thing you want to do, if you have a lot of ideas in your head, or if you have a different project, make sure to pick every single project that you're working on and start measuring them. And slowly, don't even worry about sacrificing things in the beginning, because over time, as you're going to start tracking your progress on each of those different projects, then slowly you're going to push one project aside and focus on the one thing that you really want to focus on. So how do you pick what to measure? Well, it depends on what you're working on. For example, if you're building a business that delivers pizza and you want to track how many pizza you're delivering per day, you're going to track that. And by tracking how many pizza you're delivering per day and setting goals every single time, every single period, you'll see that because you're not meeting those goals, maybe you need to make some adjustment elsewhere. So start by figuring out what's the main metrics that you want to track. People like to call it KPI in the business world, which stands for key performance indicator. So figure out your KPI. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many things to measure. Just focus on one thing at a time, and maybe 1 to 3 metrics. And over time, it's going to be a lot easier for you to figure out what you need to measure and what you need to focus on. So the number 2 things that I want to mention is setting a goal. So you want to set goals after you figure out what you want to measure, because by setting those goals and by attempting to try to meet those goals, this is when you're going to be like, oh my God, there's no way that I'm going to achieve that goal if I don't push this project aside, if I don't sacrifice this. And that's what I love about this exercise, is that it really forces you to sacrifice and to pick the number 1 thing you will need to focus on. So figure out what's the most important metrics you want to track, figure out which businesses you want to track, and set a goal and see if you can achieve it. And start by setting goals that are really short. Let's say a 1-week goal, where every week you not only track what you're doing, but you measure it at the end of every single week, and the week and the follow-up week, and so on. In general, we keep telling ourselves that we want result, but what we truly want is progress. And according to the literature, progress is actually linked to subjective well-being. There's a research paper where they tested a couple of individuals, and they realized that people that were actually tracking their progress found more happiness than people that were focusing on the result. So by tracking your progress, not only you are going to be more focused, but you are also going to feel happier, to have a better subjective well-being. All right, guys, so I really hope this thing is going to help you be more mindful of what you can do within the constraint that you have, and help you to be more focused. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit a thumb like, and make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. I really want to focus this YouTube channel on content that talks to people people that are similar to me, that have multiple passion, want to do multiple things, but don't know how to manage their time and their focus in order to achieve those. So if you guys like this type of content, make sure to hit subscribe. And guys, make sure to check this video after this one. I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it. And thank you guys for watching, and I see you guys on the next one. Peace.